Hey guys, I just thought I would do a little bit of getting ready with me and kind of talk a little bit about myself. I'm Stinny and I have been reading tarot and have certain spiritual gifts for the spiritual gifts I've had for a long time. I just didn't know that's what was going on, right? And then, well, I'll just tell you like how it started, I guess. So basically, I was an art teacher for a long time at a private school. And I taught art, and around the time they were starting to get rid of music and art in schools, and they were cutting programs. And my school had changed over heads so many times, okay? So it was like constantly having to prove yourself over and over again. To get people to get to know who you are and what your program is all about. Anyway, so long story short, all the specialty programs got cut, and I was devastated. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know who I was if I wasn't a teacher, and I had a little bit of, I felt like a midlife crisis at the time. And so I was just not knowing what to do. So I was looking for jobs, but an art job in the area that I was in was like looking for a needle in a haystack. It was just really hard to find a job. So, I applied at places. I couldn't find a job. I started working for a friend at a sign shop, and still utilizing art skills and production and that kind of thing, but I was also like not sure what I was going to do, and it wasn't enough money, and I had bought a house, and so I was trying to make my mortgage. So I ended up looking on Craigslist at the time for anything that I could do as a side job, and I came across an ad for an entertainment company that it was looking for a face painter, and I thought like, oh, I could paint faces, right? So I answered this ad, and I sent pictures of times that I've like painted faces at the school events that I was at and stuff like that. So this lady answered me back, and we talked on the phone for 2 hours. She's actually a dear friend of mine now. But we talked for a couple of hours about different things that I could do for her. And one of them, she said, hey, do you know anything about tarot cards? Because I could use another person to be a fortune teller at some of my events. And I was like, well, I don't really know anything about tarot, but I'm learning, I don't mind learning about it or whatever. I taught theater, so I could be, mystical or whatever I need. And she was like, okay, well, let's just, see, I need a reader by this event at this time. And I had a little bit of time, so I thought, okay, I'll get a deck of tarot cards and I will start studying them. So I only studied the major arcana, and I studied them like flashcards, okay? And this event came up, and there were other psychics there, and just, other people had hired stuff, and I started to work this event, and I had people in my line, and they were coming around, and I was supposed to just let them ask one question, and I was supposed to just answer the question and move through the line, okay? So I didn't put on any theatrics because I was nervous. And I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna try to play it up and all that. I'm just gonna say what the card means, okay? So I started doing that. I started saying what the card means, and I started saying what I thought, and almost like kind of reading the cards intuitively. But I didn't understand that's what I was doing at the time. And so people started getting back in my line, and my line started becoming really long. And I was like, wow, okay, there's something to this. So I had saw an ad for a psychic fair in the area. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna go do this, and I'm going to see what a psychic fair is all about, and I'm gonna get readings for myself. So I went to the Dallas Psychic Fair, and I saw 3 different psychics, and they were on other sides of the room from each other. They weren't around each other, and nobody knew anything about me. I didn't know anybody there. And I started getting these readings that were like, you have gifts and you're not aware. And you're like a sponge and you absorb everything. And one of the psychics was like, that is why people are freaking out when you're reading their cards at parties, because your guides are working with you and you're dead on, and you're a psychic, you have gifts. And I was like, wow, and I just kept getting that confirmation all day. Well, one of those psychics actually teaches a course called Zero to Psychic. And my friend and I decided to sign up for this course, and this person became my mentor. And we took this, I think it was 6 or 8 week course. And I started learning about some of my gifts and learning how to hone in on them and how to connect with spirit. And I learned more than just the tarot cards. I learned kind of like a nutshell, all things psychic and how to deal with energy. And it was a very interesting course. And I actually have a fun little story about the graduation of that course. For graduation, they do what is called a crucible. And you have as many psychics as there are in the course, you have that many strangers come. And they come and they sit around, and you have to do what is called a cold read. So what a cold read is when you hold somebody's hands and you connect with their energy, and you just start breathing and blurting. It's called breathe and blurt, right? You breathe, and then whatever images pop up in your head, whatever you hear, whatever you feel, you are connecting with that person, and you're sharing what's going on with you, right? And you have 6 minutes with each person, and then you move on and you go to the next person. And they don't really say anything. There's not really any confirmation. But at the end, when the crucible is over, you can talk to the people and see and get confirmation, right? So at this crucible, I was with this lady, and I was holding her hands, and I was telling her I was seeing a horse, an ornery horse, and I was seeing this man that had chiseled features, but his face wasn't in focus for me. I could tell he was handsome. I could tell he had chiseled features. I could tell he was wearing denim. He was wearing a hat. Um,